Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am happy to have you join me again tonight on Livingston's Leisure. My name is Richard Livingston, and I have a dedicated public servant here, Rick Tustin, a professional from the Westford Fire Department's Pipe and Drum Corps, and also a retiree from the Winchester Fire Department. And I want to give you a brief overview of today's show. The tradition of the bagpipes played at fire and police department funerals and other events started in the United States dates back to the 1850s, when the Irish and Scottish immigrated to this country. They brought many of their traditions with them. One of these was the great Highland bagpipe, often played at Celtic weddings, funerals, and dances. As settlements spread across North America, so did fire departments, and along with them, the traditions of the pipes and the drums. During the mass immigration of the Great Potato Famine in the 1800s, NINA, which meant no Irish need apply, the only jobs they could get were the dirty or the dangerous ones, or both, that no one else wanted to do. They were firefighters and police officers. It was not an uncommon event at the time to have several firefighters killed at a working fire. The bagpipes, when played for a comrade, gave hardened firefighters the dignity to weep when heard. The most famous song played at firefighters and police and fallen heroes' funerals is Amazing Grace, and they added a special air of dignity to the solemnity of the occasion. Today, the tradition has become universally featured at funerals. Traditionally known as the Emerald Society for their origin, which the music ensemble wears the kilt and the tunic. Prominently played at these solemn ceremonies 4 times is Amazing Grace. And I'd like to share with you the meaning of each stanza. First stanza is played by a solo piper for your being born and coming into the world. The second stanza is played with all the pipers and the drummers for the celebration of your life and your family. The third stanza, again, with all of the pipers and the drummers, for your entire life with family, friends, fire department, first responders, your extended family. Sometimes 2 and 3 may be merged together, but not always. The folklore of the bagpipe is that it possesses a mystical power and can be heard in heaven. The sound of the piper directs the departed soul to heaven's gate. So the fourth stanza is very unique because the solo piper turns around and walks away while remaining in sight of the family, creating a fading effect. This symbolized the pipe leading the departed to the hereafter, stopping short of the gate as he cannot pass through it. I would like to introduce our guest today, Rick Tustin, from the Westford Fire Department Pipe and Drum Society, Music Ensemble, and recently a retiree from the Winchester Fire Department. It's a great feeling to be retired, isn't it?
I'm getting used to it.
It takes a while. How long has the Bagpipes Musical Ensemble been affiliated with the Westford Fire Department?
So the Westford and District Pipes and Drums, our original name was the Westford Firefighters Pipes and Drums, was formed in 2008 as a result of the untimely death of firefighter Richard Green of the Westford Fire Department. A group of pipers and drummers assembled to pipe him to his final resting place. And following the funeral, a few of the members of the Westford Fire Department took on the task of trying to form their own pipe and drum band. Yeah. Here in Massachusetts, we had, previous to that, we had 3 solid public service bands, fire service related. We had Brockton, we had Greater Boston, and we had Worcester. Westford became the 4th solid band. It was originally made up of firefighters from Westford, Nashua, New Hampshire, Pelham, New Hampshire, Winchester, Mass., and a few others that decided to join in. Shortly thereafter, the band started to grow. We started to pick up more members. We started to get more departments, Burlington, Reading, Lexington. So, the band began to grow. And we also started to take on some civilians as well.
Oh.
And as the band grew and members came and went, in about 2015, we voted to change the name to the Westford and District Pipes and Drums to really reflect the fact that we were more of a district band, not just a Westford Fire Department band. We were more district. Okay. And that's the name that we work under today is Westford and District Pipes and Drums.
Oh, that's fantastic. Why do you tend to play Amazing Grace at your performances?
Well, again, you hit on it pretty well. The history there, especially the four-part meaning at a funeral. We do tend to, as you noted, consolidate that to three parts. The second and third part we typically do as one. So we do a solo band solo. It's because it's the most famous song out there. It's something that everyone recognizes. It does bring a tear to everyone's eyes, especially at a funeral. We tend to play it at almost any ceremony that we do as a matter of honoring the fallen. And it's become a tradition, in the pipes and drums.
Wonderful. What reactions have you received that have stood out to you over the years after performances, such as like a wedding or a concert, or even for that matter, a parade?
Well, there's been many. I started with the band in 2009, a few months after it was formed. I took over as pipe major in 2015. I've been leading the band ever since. I think some of our highlights that stick out in my mind that in addition to the parades, we do the funerals. We don't always like to do the funerals, but part of our mission statement is to be ever ready to honor any firefighter, policeman, or military that might pass. But a couple of highlights. We did a concert in 2016 with the Westford Academy. During their Christmas concert, we were the guest performers there, and we performed with them Highland Cathedral, which has somewhat become one of our main songs that we perform at almost every performance that we do. That was quite a moving experience. Those were an amazing group of musicians from the Westford Academy, and it's such an honor to play with them. And I think that for myself, we've done a few ceremonies, changing of command for the 25th Marine Corps out of Devens.
Wow.
And those three that we did, they were really an honor to be able to play. We did a changing of the command for the colonel, a retirement for a major, and a changing of the command for a sergeant major. And they honored us with just a certificate that we valued more than anything else, a certificate of appreciation. But playing for the Marines, and on our website and on our Facebook page, you can see the banner there of us marching in that ceremony in our previous dress uniform, not the one that we wear today. But those two, I think, stand out. That of all the things that we've done, those were two very great events that we've done.
Well, it must have been quite an inspiration for you working as an adult band group with the youth of the academy and showing them what they can sell towards.
I think spot on. Not only were we trying to showcase another instrument that they may not have been familiar with and a different sound. The bagpipes are a unique sound. Just to kind of back up a little bit, you mentioned about Amazing Grace and the funerals and so forth. It's also said that it's the only instrument that can be heard in heaven. So it is a unique instrument. But also, the fact that we learned from them.
Wonderful.
They, again, an amazing group of young musicians that it was just such a pleasure to orchestrate, to take our music and arrange it with them and put together this 2.5-minute song that was just very moving. So it was a great experience all around.
That's great. That's wonderful. Do you have a preference in wearing the simple uniform or the kilt?
So when performing, we're always in our kilt. Whether we're in full dress uniform, we tend to change our style of dress depending on what we're performing for. This past Apple Blossom Parade, it was very warm, so we decided to not wear our full dress jacket, went with short sleeve white shirts, which is part of our dress uniform. We're always wearing our kilt. There is a history to why we have the kilt that we have. I'll get to that in a moment, but if we're doing something such as a St. Patrick's Day pub crawl, where we're visiting various pubs, this is the shirt that we tend to wear. And we're dressed down just a little bit. So we go anywhere from a more casual look with our kilt, we always have the kilt, to a very formal, especially on the funerals, we're in full, what we refer to as a Class A.
Now I have a question for you. Is the material still wool?
100% wool.
I thought so. So that's why you polyester here and wool here.
So our dress jacket is a polyester blend, but the kilt is 100% wool. It's a 16-yard heavyweight, or 16-ounce, 8-yard kilt. Actually made in Scotland. So.
How do you feel about playing the bagpipes?
Growing up, I had played the trumpet through my youth and into my adult years. I was a trumpet player, always wanting to learn to play the bagpipes. It took me until almost the age 49 before I actually picked them up and started playing them. And it was somewhat like a fish to water that I really love playing the bagpipes.
Well, I've watched you observe the group several times down at the Westford Firehouse out back, and especially it seems very intricate as far as the pitch pipe and getting everything, and each one of you went through the process of making sure your pipes were on perfect pitch for each staff. So I thought it must take an awful lot.
So they are a finicky instrument. You're playing an instrument that is, if we think about a woodwind instrument versus a brass instrument, a woodwind instrument, these are essentially a woodwind instrument. Most woodwinds are one reed. These are 4 reeds.
Wow, okay.
So we're playing 4 different reeds. 3 different octaves. So the chanter is 1 octave, and then the 2 smaller drones is another octave, and then the bass drone is the 3rd. So we need to make sure that they're all in tune with each other. And everything affects them. Moisture, cold, heat, the length of time that we're playing. So we were constantly trying to finesse them.
Now, have you, is this in your family history at all? Or?
So, I think, it can be said that, for most people, the bagpipes need to be in your blood to really enjoy it. It's something I think that, my family does have Scottish and Irish roots going way back. So I like to tell myself that somewhere along our line there was a bagpiper in the family somewhere. So.
Now, why do you think bagpipes touch people's heart? That whenever, even as you came down the main street here in Westford during the festival, the minute they heard the bagpipes, I was probably a football field's length away from you, and I heard them, they heard, and everyone just chimed up, got out of their seat, they wanted to see. Why do you think that is?
I think it I think it just really stirs people deep down that it's something, it's not your typical brass band, your marching band and so forth. It's a sound that is unique unlike any other. The pageantry of it, the kilt, which I would like to talk to a little bit about why we picked the kilt that we did and how it ties into Westford. But I think a lot of that people just love to hear the sound of the bagpipes. We like to joke around that they like to hear the sound of them, but for about 15 minutes, and then then after that they probably had enough of the bagpipes. But
so why don't we? Perfect segue. Why don't we segue into discussing the parts of the tunic and the tartan?
Sure. So here in Westford, as you probably know, we have the legend of the Westford Knight. If you,
I see the little icon on the side of the road.
Yeah, and that, the effigy that's there down near the Abbott School, the stone effigy, and Dave Christiana, who actually helped design our patch, was the sculptor and the designer of that brass and bronze statue that you see there. So as you know, with the history of the Westford Knight in 1398, Prince Henry Sinclair's expedition to the New World, along with him was one of his knights, Sir James Gunn. And as the legend has it, Sir Gunn succumbed on the expedition here in Westford and is supposedly buried at that site where that effigy is. So that's the legend and the lore. So tying our band in to the Westford Knight, in the fall of 2008, we actually petitioned Clan Sinclair to gain permission to wear their tartan. So the tartan we wear is what is referred to as the Sinclair Modern Red. It really ties in. It has the red for the fire. Because we like to honor Richard Green, who passed away, really the reason the band was formed, has the green tones in it to represent and remember Richard Green. Clan Sinclair was very honored and they thought it was a great idea, and they actually made us honorary members of the clan. So Westford Pipes and Drums are actually members of Clan Sinclair. So that's been a great honor. So we have the green in it. Our hose that we wear, which is the socks, they're a black and red diced hose, but the little ribbons that you see on the side, they're referred to as flashes. Those are green. The Glengarry, which is the hat that we wear, the feather that sticks out of that's referred to as a hackle. That is also green. Again, those touches of green is to remember Richard Green, in honor of Richard Green.
Excellent. Very good.
In around 2016, we went from an Eisenhower jacket, which we had to wear a white shirt and tie with, to more of a military-style tunic. So this is our current dress uniform for our Class A events. It's designed for fire department honor guards. It does resemble a little bit the Marine Corps dress uniform with the high collar, but we wear this with the for our formal occasions. And this is just a very nice jacket that we have with it, that goes with the uniform.
Now I'm going to expose myself. I missed something in my research. What is the bag that you wear around your waist and the sash? So
the bag is referred to as a sporran.
Okay.
There are two types that we wear. One of them is a horsehair sporran. That's the formal one that you usually see when you see any of the British or Scottish bands in their full regalia. It's the hair with the tassels. We use that. That's part of our Class A dress uniform. We wear that we wore it for the parade. We do wear that at most events. The second type of sporran is what was referred to as a day sporran. You see that more when at dinners, and most of our non-fire service bands, they'll wear that style sporran. The horsehair is usually saved for the military, the fire, and the police. So the sash, on the other hand, is signifies your rank within the particular pipe band. It's a holdover from how the Scottish regiments dress. I wear a maroon style sash that signifies my role as the pipe major.
I see. Yeah. And are there levels within the band?
So we do follow the Scottish rank system as opposed to as my role when I was active in the Winchester Fire Department. I was the chief of the department. Fire service tends to use bugles as its rank. A chief is 5 bugles. In the band, however, the highest rank is 4 stripes. So we have 4 stripes here. The band was kind enough to have gold stripes for myself since I was a chief, but this signifies pipe major. We do have what is referred to as the sergeant, which would bend 3 then a corporal is 2, and then just the lowest rank, just piper, is 1 stripe.
Now, there's white or is there's gold?
Everyone
I know
else
that
is
your
white.
status, right?
Yeah. Mine, they when I became chief, they honored me by purchasing gold stripes, for my uniform.
Which is wonderful. You should be rewarded for your rank. Another question, what about the drummers? I noticed that you had one young lady that was in your band. Are there more than one?
We've had various. It's not all just men in the band. We've had women come and go in the band. It's open to anybody. Right. We do have one steady female piper, actually drummer. I'm sorry, drummer. The members that you saw at the parade on this past Saturday, we do collaborate with a band out of Peabody, Mass, called the North Shore Pipes and Drums, and they were kind enough to come and march with us this past Saturday. So some of the members that you saw there, they were wearing the blue kilts. They were members of the North Shore Pipe Band. We tend to work with them quite a bit.
Oh.
So yeah, we've had, again, we're open to anybody who wishes. Our running joke in the band is, if you can count to 4, we can teach you how to play.
So if somebody were interested and wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
So one of the best ways is they either go to our website or to our Facebook page, and they can contact us. We do currently, we've been practicing down, as you had mentioned, at the Westford Fire Headquarters on Boston Road. We're there every Thursday night. But yeah, through our website, the contact us through our website is probably the best way to get a hold of us.
Well, I would say it is, because when I contacted you in a cold call with an email and so on, I really appreciate that you took the time after I stopped by to see you at the firehouse where you were rehearsing, and you got back to me, and here you are. You made it come to fruition. And I think that it opens the door for a lot of young kids that may be very much interested in going beyond the instruments they may be playing now in the high school and the academy band to do the pipes. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the Westford audience?
Well, it like almost any hobby, let's say, it does have its expenses. It's not an inexpensive hobby. Yeah. Our bagpipes that we play in our band, what we try to do in the band is that we try to provide the drums for the drummers. Some of the drummers do like to buy their own drums, but we like to provide the drums. But the pipers, on the other hand, because they have an opportunity to make money on the side playing at weddings and funerals, most of the pipers, we don't provide bagpipes. They have to buy their own. So our bagpipes are made in Scotland for the most part. There is a nice company in Nashua, New Hampshire called Gibson Bagpipes that makes a very nice set of bagpipes. They're the only American manufacturer. My bagpipes, for example, came out of Scotland. They do run a little pricey, so it is a hobby that you really want to make sure that you're going to enjoy. But we usually start them off in what's referred to as a practice chanter. We'll get them going on that for a couple of months, see if they like it. We do encourage that if this is something they want to do, the younger the better. Our younger generation tends to learn a lot quicker than us older individuals. But it is something that we would certainly guide them through and make sure that they have the right equipment if they want to take up this.
Now that you've spoke of your inspiring of the younger generation, is there anyone in your family, your family members that you've been trying to get?
So interestingly enough,
follow in your footsteps.
Yeah, they I think they've listened to me for so long. My younger son, for the most part, he's the one that had to endure it the longest. He was a drummer. He played drum all through his schooling. He pretty much, nope, I'm not going down that road. But I'm still trying. I'm still trying to get them, to do that. So
there's always hope.
There's always hope. There's always hope.
Well, Rick, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me.
Oh, my pleasure.
I appreciate it a lot, and I think that the audience here in Westford is going to enjoy it, and we'll see to it that it gets out there so that everyone can see it. I would like to take this time to thank our guest, Rick Tustin, the production crew, and our audience that has helped to continue to make Livingston's Leisure a success. Don't forget to like and share with your friends because it matters what you think. Thank you and good day.